Only 21 days are left until the end of 2023. In this season finale, let's take a look back at 2 events from every month of this year. Welcome to the season finale of Season 1 of Lively Live Life, a podcast by the Information Institute that explains the science behind everyday phenomena. Today's episode is Season's Greetings, Finale. Thank you for joining us here on Channel 2023, the Information Institute. I'm Kang, and I will be your host for today. Let's get right into it. On January 8th, after the October 2022 election and subsequent inauguration of Lula da Silva as the Brazilian president, supporters of the former President Jair Bolsonaro stormed the Brazilian National Congress, the Supreme Federal Court, and the Presidential Palace of Planalto, echoing the U.S. Capitol storming on January 6, 2021. 2 days later, on January 10th, a cold snap hit Afghanistan and lasted until the 17th. Temperatures plunged to a minimum of negative 33 degrees Celsius, making it the coldest winter in 15 years. The death count was 166, and more than 80,000 livestock died as well. The United States shot down an alleged Chinese spy balloon around 11 kilometers off the coast of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina on February 4th. The balloon, presumed to have been launched in late January and first spotted on February 1st, had flown over military bases. As a result of this incident, U.S.-China relations were strained, such as with the U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken canceling a long-awaited trip to Beijing. Disaster strikes. The largest earthquake since 1939 hit Turkey and Syria on February 6, with a magnitude of 7.8. Multiple aftershocks ravaged the region for months. 59,000 people were killed and 121,000 were injured. On March 10th, Silicon Valley Bank, the 16th largest bank in the United States, failed, resulting in the largest bank failure since the 2008 financial crisis. Russian President Vladimir Putin and Maria Lvova-Belova, Russian Commissioner for Children's Rights, were issued arrest warrants by the International Criminal Court on March 17th. Finland is officially considered their 31st NATO member state on April 4th, doubling NATO's borders with Russia. After disseminating highly classified documents regarding foreign militaries and the Russian invasion of Ukraine in late 2022 onto social media, Jack Teixeira, a Massachusetts Air National Guard, was arrested on April 13th. The documents revealed intelligence regarding the Russo-Ukrainian war, while also unveiling U.S. intelligence in other nations. On May 1st, First Republic Bank, which had an approximate asset of $229 billion USD, failed. The bank was seized by JP Morgan Chase, the largest bank in the world. This collapse surpassed the March collapse of Silicon Valley Bank to become the second largest bank failure in all of U.S. history. A 13-year-old boy opened fire upon a school in Belgrade, Serbia, killing 10 people and injuring 6 more. The suspect had planned the attack for weeks, even constructing a kill list. He had allegedly stolen his father's legally owned gun. While the suspect could not face charges due to him being under 14, he was sent to a psychiatric hospital, while his parents faced charges of child neglect and acts against public safety. The following day, a 21-year-old was arrested for killing 9 and injuring 8 more people with an automatic assault rifle. The shootings occurred in Mladenovac and Smederevo, Serbia. Together with the school shooting in the previous day, mass protests began to rally for tightened control over firearms and radical alterations to the government. The Titan submersible, which carried 5 passengers to explore the wrecks of the Titanic, catastrophically imploded on June 18th, killing everyone on board and sparking heavy criticism regarding the safety of the submersible. The Wagner Group, led by Yevgeny Prigozhin, began an armed rebellion against the Russian military on June 23rd. However, the rebellion was disbanded the next day after a peace arrangement brokered by Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko. SAG-AFTRA announced it would begin a strike on July 14th against major film and TV studios because of low compensation, ownership disputes, and loss of occupations at the hand of generative AI. The strike lasted until November 9th. Beginning on July 17th, countless wildfires have ignited across Greece, killing 28, injuring more than 75, and forcing more than 20,000 to evacuate. The temperature climbed up to 41 degrees Celsius, with an anticipated 45 degrees Celsius in Rhodes. Hurricane Hilary, a Category 4 storm, formed on August 16th and battered the Pacific coast of Mexico and southwestern United States with heavy rainfall and strong winds. The storm cost more than $690 billion USD in damage and caused 2 casualties. It dissipated on August 22nd. India's Chandrayaan-3 becomes the first spacecraft to successfully land on the south pole of the moon on August 23rd. Elsewhere, the leader of the Wagner Group, Yevgeny Prigozhin, its founder Dmitry Utkin, and 8 others were killed in a plane crash in Russia on the same day. An earthquake with magnitude 6.9 struck the Marrakech-Safi region of Morocco on September 8th, the largest in the African continent since the 2006 Mozambique earthquake. The earthquake resulted in 2,960 casualties and 5,674 injuries. Amid an Armenian exodus, a gas station used as a refuge by hundreds exploded on September 25th in Nagorno-Karabakh. The explosion killed 220 and injured 300 more. On October 7th, the militant organization Hamas launched an incursion into Israel, marking the beginning of the ongoing Israel-Hamas war that caused thousands of casualties and created one of the largest humanitarian crises in the 21st century. Hurricane Otis made landfall in Acapulco, Mexico on October 25th. Being a Category 5 storm, Hurricane Otis was the first Pacific hurricane to make landfall at Category 5, which caused more than 50 casualties and more than 30 missing. The world's first AI summit took place in the United Kingdom on November 1st, with the 28 member countries agreeing on how to manage the risks of artificial intelligence. From November 14th to 17th, Chinese President Xi Jinping visited the United States for the first time in 6 years to attend the summit with US President Joe Biden. The summit had taken place to stabilize international relations between the two superpowers. On December 6th, Google DeepMind launched Gemini, a large language model that incorporates a multimodal model that can take in text, images, videos, audio, and code. While still in its nascent stages, researchers predict that it could be the largest LLM created to this date. And that wraps up all of 2023 and, sadly, the first season of the podcast Lively Lived Life. It has been a wonderful 28 weeks diving into the underlying science behind everyday phenomena we take for granted. Thank you for joining us for the past 15 episodes, and we hope to see you again soon.